Welcome to our podcast, Bali Life Unfiltered. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Michelle, and we are two friends living on the island of Bali. In our podcast, we'll be talking about what it's like living in Bali, from the highs, lows, and everything in between.
We will also be bringing you all the current information on moving here, renting and building, visa requirements, cultural differences, the best cafes and restaurants, spas, beach clubs, you name it.
And we'll also be having some special guests who are living on the island and doing some amazing things.
Hopefully, we can motivate you and inspire you to challenge yourself, whether it's to book that holiday, move here, start a business, or you just want to know what it's like living on the island.
And welcome to our first episode. We're very excited. So today we're just going to be talking about why we moved to Bali, how it all worked out, all the things that we had to go through in those first initial periods.
Cool. So let's dive into it. Okay, so we're going to be sharing how we ended up in Bali, like how we got here,
why we got here.
Yeah, why we got here, and just a brief overview of about us, really, to give you a background on who Michelle is and who Hannah is.
Mm-hmm.
So Michelle, tell me, how did it all begin?
Yeah, so I am here with my husband and two daughters. They are 3 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
And we're from Melbourne in Australia, which is pretty much why we moved here.
Mm-hmm.
I had my second child in lockdown in Melbourne. And as everyone knows that lived in Melbourne, it was a really tough time. So we were in, I think, the 50th lockdown when we had her. And for about, I think, 5 to 6 months, I think the playgrounds closed down. My oldest couldn't go to childcare.
Yeah, crazy.
We couldn't have visitors. Like, it was just a mental fuck, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to get out of Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
So we did think of going to Queensland because we love Queensland. Obviously, the warmer weather, a better lifestyle.
Yep.
But then we also have always wanted to live overseas.
Mm-hmm. Was Bali always on your list?
No. We travelled to Bali.
Yep.
On a holiday a couple of times, but no, never. I don't even know why it came up. Still, it's no idea.
Yep.
But I was on maternity leave. My husband was fully remote with his business, thanks to COVID.
Yep.
And we had only planned for like 6 to 12 months. And now we've been here for 3 years.
Yeah. This is the story that happens with everyone, right? They're like,
exactly.
I came here for 3 months and then I've never left. It's been 10 years.
Yeah, I feel like it's either 6 to 12 months and then you leave.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Or you're here longer.
Yeah.
So I think after 3 to 4 months of making the decision, we moved. Although all of our stuff is still in storage, we still haven't sorted that out because we thought we were coming back. 6 to 12 months. But yes, so then we, unlike you, we didn't want to do the Jakarta.
Fair enough.
I had PTSD of the lockdowns.
Yeah.
So we, again, similar to you, had sort of a month where we're like, we can go whenever. So we waited and we went straight to Bali to a hotel where you just had to quarantine for 4 days. But quarantine was like, let's go swimming, let's
have a cocktail by the pool.
A cocktail, yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm jealous.
So it was pretty good. But it was a nice time because they weren't letting tourists in yet. So it was nice and quiet.
Quiet on the island,
Yeah, and like, I wish that we had come earlier because everyone that was already here said it was amazing.
Yeah, totally.
And we only got, well, not only, but we had about 4 or 5 months before they let tourists.
Yeah. It wasn't long. Yeah. But it was a slow trickle, wasn't it? Like, over that year.
Yeah. So we had a good experience of that.
Cool. And so you arrived the beginning of 2022. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Cool.
And what about yourself?
Yeah, so very similar stories, really. But so I've been here 3 years also, just a few months longer than you, I think. I am also married, have 2 children, now 5 and 7. I am British, from the UK, but have also lived in Melbourne, but we didn't know each other. We just, we met here. Me and you, that is.
Yeah.
And we just got stuck in the UK during lockdown, and COVID was a massive driving force for us. I don't think it was as bad as Melbourne by the sounds of it, but it was quite similar. And I had my son at the start of 2020, like a month before the outbreak happened and the craze happened. So again, it was a pretty tough time being there with a newborn and yeah, it was a tough time. And I think we were ready to do something else. We were ready to leave the UK, and we had spoken about going back to Australia. My husband is Australian, and before the UK, we were living in Melbourne. But we knew we didn't want to go back there. We were toying. Yeah, again, we were toying with the idea of Queensland for some reason, being warmer up that side of the coast. And we'd been to Bali a few times on holiday, pre-kids, never taken the kids there. And just thought, why not? Why not give it 6 months? Again, Patrick, my husband, his business is all online. Again, very lucky that we had that freedom. I wasn't working at the time.
So weird because like Bali's quite far from
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's pretty far from the UK. Yeah, it is far. Yeah, but I think I just being used to traveling and from living in Australia, probably Bali didn't feel that far.
Yeah.
It kind of felt closer to home, which it is. So it kind of felt like a good middle ground for both of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, we thought we'd give it 6 months. We actually shipped all of our belongings from the UK to Australia, thinking we were ending up there.
Oh,
so literally all of our stuff went to Australia.
Yeah.
And ended up in storage, of course, because we didn't end up going to pick it up.
Yeah.
And so we came here January 2022. At that time, it was chopping and changing the rules. Like it felt like daily with who could come into Indonesia.
Yeah.
And but we'd always set our hearts on January. The date was flexible, but we had January. In the end, we just went for a date. And I think it was towards the end of January. But when this was all going on, Indonesia said the UK can't come in. It's like on a red list, you know, where there are all sorts of lists going on of who could come in.
Yeah.
And if you'd been in the UK in the last 2 weeks, you weren't allowed into Indonesia. So we'd randomly booked a holiday to Cambodia for 2 weeks and thought we'd enter from that way.
Yeah.
But it turned out like a week before they changed the rules, the UK could come in. We just had to go through Jakarta and do a week quarantine in a hotel. Couldn't leave your hotel room, which is the opposite to you, right? You could leave your room.
Go out.
We can use the pool.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a pool, quite frankly.
You had to stay in the room.
Yeah, we had a room, and you could pick your hotel.
Did you have a balcony?
So you had options. We had
fresh air.
You could call it a balcony, but it was glassed.
Yeah.
It was like a greenhouse,
Yeah.
but it felt like you're outside, you know, that you could feel the heat, and it felt different. You know, I was kind of trying to get a suntan out there. I don't think it was working.
Horror stories of people just trying to open the window to get some fresh
air. Yeah. It was a bit strange, but luckily, like, we got a nice room that was reasonable size. Like, I had a bedroom, I had a living room. And I had a big bathroom. So it kind of felt, I mean, the kids had lots of baths. That's kind of the activities we were doing. Yeah. Like with the empty water bottles, we were playing bowling, like all sorts of
do what you can.
These strange games to keep us occupied. And it wasn't that bad. Yeah. When you've come from lockdown, not leaving your house, being in a hotel room wasn't that bad. It kind of felt like a holiday.
Yeah.
And we knew we were getting to Bali in the end. So wasn't that bad. Yeah. So it was all good. Tell me I want to hear about when you first got here. So what did you do? Like, did you have a plan? Did you have a villa? Like, did you have a hotel? Like, what did you do when you got here?
So for the first month to 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. So our priority was to find a school for my youngest, just for a couple of days. So she was 2 at the time. Mm-hmm. And we moved we looked around Brawa, Canggu, Umalas. Yes. So people know, like, that's a really good area for kids and families. We didn't really want to go over to Sanua because my husband surfs, so it was priority. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, actually, priority was to be near the surf. Yep. Priority was still. So we definitely decided on that before we moved, like the area that we wanted. Yep. And we chose the garden school. We checked a few out, but I love the garden. Yeah. My youngest is still there. Just wonderful teachers. So if you are thinking of coming here or a school, I highly recommend. And then, so we just started looking for a villa. We found one, but we had some time before we could move in. So we just did a lot of Airbnbs around the area. Moved into that villa. It was it was a Bali villa. So in hindsight, not the best when you have a baby. Yeah. There was 4 bedrooms, but you could only get to them going outside. Yeah. So,
very typical of Bali.
The bathrooms are all outside, beautiful, tropical. Yeah. But yeah, crossing like the grass in the middle of the night for like night feeds,
Yeah.
not ideal.
Yeah.
But it was lovely. Good and bad experience with that, which we'll definitely cover in later episodes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And what about you when you first moved here? What did you do?
So when we first got here, we had just got married before we came here, and we hadn't had a honeymoon, and we had 2 kids already, right? So I guess it wasn't going to happen, but we kind of said Bali was our honeymoon with our 2 kids in tow.
Yeah.
And so we booked a really, really, really nice villa for like a fraction of the price. I've seen how much they charge for it now.
Yeah, right.
And
oh my God.
Obscene. It was like a 5-bedroom villa. We got there and there were 4 staff. We were like, coming from England when you barely have a cleaner, ever, was like, what is
Wasn't
this
that
place?
weird?
I was like,
Yeah.
why are these people around? Can they just leave me alone? I don't know what to do. And it's amazing. And they cooked us breakfast every day the whole month we were there.
God.
It was just huge. It was amazing. So we were in that Airbnb for a month. And then we were looking for somewhere more permanent. We moved over to Canggu into a villa. Again, it was like an outdoorsy one. It was absolutely boiling. And Bailey was still little. He'd just turned 2, just after we got here. So he was still waking up at night a lot. We're in and out. And then it was loads of rain, and we'd go in the middle of the night. It was rain. I mean, again, similar story. And I was like, I can't live here.
Yeah. Did you guys expect to be here long?
Again, similar. No, we thought, well, actually, we really didn't know. We had the idea of let's do 6 months and then let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I think from very early on, we loved it and couldn't see ourselves going anywhere else at that point. So after that, Patrick found another villa in Umalas, and whilst it was very nice, it wasn't practical with the kids. It was a very small outdoors, all concrete. It was very concrete.
Yeah.
It's open stairs.
Place that is good for kids.
Yeah.
Right? Like everything that's danger.
Yeah. It was too dangerous. The stairs were open, like no rail. We had to, when you can just fall out. So we had to get a rail put in, and again, eventually that one didn't work out. It just was there was no outside space, and with 2 small kids, we're just sitting inside all the time. So we moved Airbnb about, I reckon, 6 or 7 times in that first year. Which was a lot, but we were trying to find the right place, and we didn't want to jump into anything more long term at that point. And also, for those of people that haven't rented here, if you want to stay for a long period of time, it's like you pay a year up front.
Yes, that's right.
Doesn't happen in England. It doesn't happen in Australia, right? It's not something we're used to. Yeah. And I was like, why is everyone asking up front?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, this is how it works here. I was like, are these people crazy? So we really wanted to make sure we'd made the right decision. Like putting all that money up front. And again, like you say, you have to check the place. You don't know what it could be like. And then luckily then we started looking for somewhere maybe we could buy somewhere long-term lease, I should say, for like 25 years, and stumbled across where we're living now in Umalas. Also, it was being built at the time, 9 villas on a gang. Bought it off plan and moved in at the end of that year, the year we got here. So December 2022. And that's where we are now.
And do you just love the gang and their villa?
It's great.
So guys, we live next door to each other.
We are friends first and now neighbours.
After our first 12 months in our original villa, we needed to get out and looking around, and then Hannah comes and she's like, oh, next door is coming up for rent, and it is perfect. Like, it's all internal, 4-bedroom. It's just what we needed. It is in Umalas, which if you live here, it's a little bit trickier because there's a shortcut where you can't have a car. And at the time we were still kind of using a car a little bit, and I just didn't think I'd love Umalas, but when I checked out the villa, it was great. So we're still there, and it's so nice.
We're still there together. Our front doors face each other. So in the morning, it's like, hello.
Good morning. Run in and out because they're similar ages, which is so nice. I love it.
Yeah, we're very lucky in that respect. Like, if you weren't next door, it would be a whole different experience. So I think if you live on a gang where you've got other kids around, if you're a parent, then it's Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
And even for us as friends, like Michelle quite often brings me a glass of wine on a Friday night.
Yeah, well, I can't have a whole bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, I could. But
So it's great.
Yeah, nice. So good.
Tell me about then riding a scooter here.
Yes. Most people know I was petrified of the scooters when I first moved here. Just seeing a few bad experiences and knowing of a few stories. Yeah, I was really scared. And I think being a mum at the time, like still am, but being still in that phase, I was maybe extra scared. So I was just getting Gojeks everywhere.
Yeah, okay.
Because really easy, really cheap, scooters or cars in our area with the kids, generally a car. My husband was fine with the scooter. And then I actually think it was after I met you, you gave me a contact to go to like a scooter school.
Yeah.
So I did that a couple of times and it was so scary, but it was great. And
Did
did
they take you on the road?
Yes.
Yeah, the first time?
Second time.
Okay, yeah.
No, the first time.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, you're good. I'm like, no, I need another lesson. Like,
I don't feel good.
So I think I had 2 or 3 lessons.
Yeah.
And then I just practiced for maybe another month or 2 before I felt like super confident.
Yeah.
So I don't think I really rode a scooter for the first 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And I didn't take my kids on for maybe another month.
Yeah, you build up to it, don't you?
Yeah, and now, oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, the freedom it brings. Yeah. Do recommend for anyone that's thinking of coming to Bali, like, don't just hop on a scooter if you don't know how to drive one. I know it seems like it's very simple, but just knowing how to control it.
Yeah.
So there's not accidents. Yeah.
Every time I see a scooter with like a rental sticker on,
I'm
like, oh my God, stay away from me. Yeah. But what about your experience? Did you
Yeah. So when I first got here again, I couldn't ride. I'd never been on one. Not even on the. Actually, that's a lie. So when me and Patrick came before, he would ride one. Then he could drive pretty well, and I'd just be on the back, which I loved. It's great. Then when we got here, I was like, how am I going to get around? And also then, having 2 small kids. So I was like, so Patrick was driving them around for it. And actually, all 4 of us would be on the scooter when we first got here, which, I mean, it kind of worked at the time because the kids were small, but.
Yeah, we used to do it.
Yeah. And it was very hot, mind you, like very sweaty. Then I was soon again, like, I need to do this. And actually, Patrick said, he was like, the villa we were staying at had scooters. And he was like, you can take it for a little drive. You'll be fine. I was like, I've never been on one. I can't do this. And I went to look around the garden. Yeah. He was like, you go, you'll be fine. Yeah, the garden, the school. Yeah. That's to clarify. So off I went. It wasn't that far. We were just in Brawa, so it wasn't far at all. But I had to go, that little bumpy road through Brawa you take to the garden. The short. Yeah. I managed to get across there and I went to turn right to go up to the school and I slipped off. Luckily, because I'd never been. Luckily, it was quiet. It was still like early COVID time. I think there weren't lots of tourists around. A local poor man picked me up and sent me on my way. So I didn't hurt myself. I knocked my ankle, but I was fine. But I got to the garden for the viewing and I was shaking, it's just like. So that's the only time I've fallen off. Thank God. But that really scared me. Yeah. So I decided I need to take a lesson with the same people you did. I had a lesson in a field behind a caravan. Yeah,
in the cows.
With all the cows. Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, it was quiet then. There weren't many there was a few cows around, but there weren't lots of scooters or anything. Yeah. Where there is now, it's quite a parking lot, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes. So I had a lesson there, and that was my only lesson. And then went out on the road, which was very scary. And just Patrick came with me a few times. I just went slowly. Luckily, the traffic, it wasn't as busy as it is now. So it was better. And then I soon built up to, I'll take 1 child and then eventually 2 children after a few months. It was progression. Yeah. But I'm glad I took it slowly. Yeah. And, even that 1 lesson to know how to use the accelerator, how to balance, where to be feet down.
And the rules. The honking.
I mean, are there rules?
Exactly.
But so beeping each other.
Yeah.
It's not a rude thing. It's a courtesy thing, which if you're British Australian or whatever else, you think that's rude. Yeah.
You go back to Australia and it's like road rage.
And also, I don't know about you, but when cars flash you, it means they're coming, not you can go, which is the other way round.
Yeah, it is.
In the UK, it would be like, after you.
Yeah.
Whereas here it's now I'm coming through it.
Yeah.
So I always forget that one. Yeah.
All right. So when you got here, did you need to find help? Because you're saying a lot of your Airbnbs had there.
Yeah.
Or did you have any experience? Because obviously when you come to Bali, a lot of people's priorities is to get a nanny so they have more time or get cleaner.
Yeah. So that's, I guess everywhere we stayed initially had a staff member that kind of worked for that villa.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time it was a cleaner, it was a housekeeper, which was great when you're never had that before. It's amazing having someone to clean, and it's weird to start off with. It's an adjustment, like having someone there if you haven't had it before. So that was great, really. Like it really freed us up time-wise, spend more time with the kids. I think soon we realized we needed some kind of babysitter. Back home, we'd have family, right? So we relied on my mum to do most of the babysitting. So again, it's a weird transition to let someone other than your family look after your child, I think, especially when you've got small children. For me, anyway, it was like, I'm a bit worried about this. I don't know. So it's something we had to work through and build on. There are plenty of good Facebook groups. I don't know how you found people in the end. To find babysitters, or lots come through recommendations once you've made friends here through the schools and things. Now we have someone we use regularly for babysitting. We don't have a nanny full time. We just have someone that chops in and helps when we want to go out for dinner and hang out with friends. But we do have a housekeeper pretty much full time for cleaning and helping out with cooking and things.
And has it been super easy
to find someone? I would say it's
good people.
It's easy to find someone, but it's harder to find the right person that gels in with your family and that's wants to do the jobs that that are needed for you and your family. So I think it's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cultural differences.
Totally.
Because when we first moved, one big thing, even just with food, everything has sugar in it. So much sugar, so much oil.
Yeah.
So a lot of like nannies or help will just give they give kids biscuits, chocolate all the time, and that's their way of showing
It's a cultural thing. It's not. They're not trying to.
That was just like an example, right, of the little things that are different. Or they like Balinese don't put their kids down for the first year of their life. So our first nanny would always be carrying Sophia. She was 10 months at the time. She wasn't walking. But I'm like, just put her down, let her crawl and let her explore. But just those little things.
I didn't even realize that they don't at all.
Apparently, they try and just all the time.
That's a lot.
I know. But they have their family, so they're their mum or dad. Their mums. Mostly them.
How did you go about finding help? Did you
same thing, Facebook. We've been really lucky, I think, with help. Which has been really good. And we did get a nanny pretty much as soon as we got here, and she was fantastic. Her personality, she was just like sunshine, which was really good for our age, for the kids' age at the time. So we had her for, I'm going to say 18 months, just part-time. So she was fantastic. And then we got a cleaner as well, again, just part-time, and she was great. She didn't speak much English, so it was kind of nice. We could try and learn from her and vice versa. And Trudy, our nanny, she had great English. She was just, so good. And then she ended up needing, I guess, as the kids got older, with you, you don't really need the nanny as much. I had a baby, so if I wanted to go do stuff, I usually just left her at home with the nanny so I could go out and do the shopping or whatever. And as they got older, they started going to school or childcare more. We just didn't need her as much, unfortunately. So then we got another one who, again, we've had now over a year, and she's fantastic. She does the cleaning and looks after the kids a couple of days a week. So
amazing.
It's funny. I remember when we first came. Well, I remember that when I would meet people, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, all my staff," and this. I'm like, you call your staff? I just I wasn't used to that because in Australia you don't have help or staff. And I was like, what? But at the end of the day, they are your stuff.
Yeah. It's just adjusting to that. It's like any other job. They have a job and it's like
Whereas I would feel, I just felt weird.
Yeah.
It's
I
so
know what
funny
you
having
mean.
someone doing that stuff for you.
Yeah, totally.
But now it's second nature, hey?
Yeah. When you first arrived here, were there any like challenges that came up? Any like hurdles? Any like what was the biggest thing about moving here? Maybe that was difficult or different.
Yeah. So I actually had a really tough time adjusting when we first got here. I think it took me maybe 3 to 4 months before I really felt settled in. And it is because you're, moving around, you're not settled in, you don't have your own place, that sort of thing, 2 little kids.
Yeah.
I think probably every second or third day I was saying to Joe, I'm going to go home, I want to go back to Australia. Like, it's too much. I don't know, I was scared of like the dogs on the road because there was a big thing about rabies. I was scared about scooters on the road because there's nowhere to walk in Bali.
Yep.
It was just not having that routine, not having a gym to go to, not having friends yet, not having support. And it was the first time where I've lived outside of Australia. So I don't think I gave myself enough time. Like, I was very rushed.
Yeah.
So we got here, we did the villa, we got the school. We just was really like, it has to be done.
Yeah.
Just did it too fast. I think I should have allowed myself more time.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it does take a while to adjust.
Yeah.
It's a whole new like life here.
Yeah.
How long do you think it took you to really settle into Bali?
It probably took at least 6 months.
Yes.
Which is why we extended, because it took a good 6 months before we felt settled.
So that didn't feel long enough to get a real slice of Bali. Yeah.
No. And then the next 6 months. Yeah. So, I mean, I think we'll talk about it in the next episode, but I then got a job here. So then my husband and I were working a lot. So then the next 6 months, we didn't actually get to do much. So that's why we had to extend again so we could do more Bali stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. And what about you? Did you just fall into it and love it?
Do you know what? Kind of.
Yeah.
I got here and thought it was pretty amazing. Like, it was just so different to what my life had been like up until that point. And it kind of, I don't know if it still feels like, I don't feel like I'm on holiday. It feels like my everyday life, but it feels like this like elevated kind of life. I don't know how to describe it. And when you come here, I feel like there's just a different energy. Like, I feel like a little bit of a different person.
Yeah.
When I go home, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's true. Like,
I
think after my first period of time here, 3 6 months, they talk about that energy.
Yeah.
And I know it's apparently it's called the feminine energy.
Yeah.
But you feel it.
Yeah. And there's something about it. So I got here and felt like I just loved it. And there were so many hurdles, and I'm sure we'll talk about this more, like since we arrived the last 3 years. But it was, I did fall in love with it quite quickly. But adjustments had to be made. But it was,
I mean, I talk about the struggles, but so many amazing things. So what was your favorite things that you were doing for the first six-ish months?
I think just being able to be outdoors in the sun, like vitamin D, like just being outside was amazing after England, COVID together. Being able to go to yoga classes. I just was doing all of those things, like lapping up Bali life. The kids just loving it, like being in the pool every day. Just to see them happy and outdoors was like nourished me. It was just like so nice to see, just having this free life. It just felt like we had freedom. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it. It was just great. I've loved all of the things when we first got here.
Yeah, we were similar. So I loved going out to beach clubs.
Oh, yeah.
Love that. Yeah. Obviously the beach, being outside as well. And you're right. Like, the kids were loving it. Being in the pool. I think, I don't know about now, but they were just so good at swimming.
Yeah.
Right. When you're swimming every day, they just, bam. Yeah. Amazing. So do you have any fears about moving to Bali?
Yes. I think my biggest fear was that I wouldn't make friends. I think being an adult, and making friends is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's weird, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not as easy as with kids and they just play with anyone.
Yeah.
I was very worried about that because when I lived in Australia, I didn't really make any friends.
Yeah.
Like, I had one friend from someone I worked with who was American, so we were kind of in the same boat of not knowing anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very scared that I wouldn't make friends. I think I was more worried about me and how I was going to cope than the children. I knew the children would be fine.
Yeah.
So that was a big fear. And then also, yeah, just taking children away from my mum, their grandparents, was like, yeah, very, very difficult. And I think you can relate to that also, right?
It's like every year they're like, so are you coming back?
Yeah.
We're gonna extend another year.
We're just seeing how it goes.
Yeah. So it sucks.
Yeah, it's hard. And they want to be involved and you want them to be involved. And God, it would be great to have the help and knowing like your parents around the corner to help out and having them close. And as they're getting older, of course. But I don't know, like my family, excuse me, do travel over here. So it's not like they don't see them and we go back. Similar for you, right?
Yeah, I think that's why we chose Bali, I guess, as well, because it's only 6 hours away. So we can go back and forth as often as we want.
Yeah.
And they come and see us. So they're pretty lucky like that.
Yeah, that's lucky for Australia. It's a bit closer.
Yeah, exactly.
When you first got here, like, tell me, like, was there something unexpected that happened? Was there like some funny stories, something you had to learn? Like,
oh gosh, so many.
Yeah.
So many. Would come up. Probably the annoying thing I remember being like, we can't stay, we've got to leave.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter was just getting eaten alive by mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And now I see it on Facebook groups. It seems to be very common when you first move here.
Yeah.
For the first 3 weeks, she was just eaten alive by mosquitoes, but they weren't just little mosquito bites. They were like welts.
Oh, wow.
And we're like sending her to childcare. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. We tried everything.
Yeah.
A little tip out there is some of our like local friends were like, get a fan at night and it blows the mosquitoes away. And I'm like, oh, what is this? No, but it worked.
Yeah.
It actually worked. But yeah, so she just had these welts and I'm like, we can't live here if this is what it's going to be like. We can't.
Yeah.
I feel horrible. Yeah. But eventually it calmed down and no one, like none of us get bitten anymore.
Yeah, it's
and
weird.
Even if she does, she doesn't have welts anymore.
That's so interesting.
Weird.
The same with our kids. Like they used to get bitten alive when we first got here. Now they still do occasionally, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. I'm like fresh blood or
I need to look into this. What is the reason?
Who knows?
Somebody tell me.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any, when you moved here, did you bring anything that you didn't need or that you wish you brought? I know like on a lot of Facebook groups, especially families are like, do I need to bring nappies? Do I need to bring blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
Anything?
So in terms of like kids stuff, like most things you can get here, I wasn't overly like Bailey was just turning 2. See, we didn't have lots of baby stuff, maybe like younger kids need, like nappies you can get here. You can get all the stuff really. So I don't necessarily think there's anything I wish I had packed that I hadn't. And also for myself, I don't know. I can't think of anything in particular.
Did you bring a lot of stuff?
We had a suitcase each.
Yeah.
So clothes, really.
Yeah.
And I didn't bring any warm clothes like jumpers or anything. I knew it was hot here. Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe I packed really efficiently. I don't know. The one thing I'm glad I packed is my Kindle, just so I can read. Yeah. There are bookshops here, of course, but they're expensive. Yeah, so expensive. So I'm glad I have that. Yeah, I have a really boring answer, I'm afraid, to that. What about you?
Similar, like, well, you didn't bring much.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't need a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I think it's surprising how little you can live without. I mean, you pack up a whole house of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get here and you're like, what do I own? I didn't need any of that.
Yeah.
It's so weird, right?
I know. We still have all our stuff in storage I need to go through. but I am a little bit like, oh, but I love that couch.
Yeah.
Glad to bring it over, but it is so expensive
Yeah.
to ship stuff here.
Yeah.
But we did bring our coffee machine.
Oh, you brought it on the plane?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we packed it up and brought that,
Yeah.
which has been a lifesaver.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's still going. I love
It's
it.
still going? Great. That's good.
Cool. I think that's it for our episode today, but we are doing a fun thing at the end of our podcast.
Yeah.
It is a this and that. So I am going to ask you, Hannah, some questions, and you just have to pick which one is your favorite.
Easy. Cool.
Yes. So, are you a local Wurrung girl or a fancy beach club?
I'm a fancy beach club kind of gal.
Oh, touching on that.
Yeah.
How did we meet? We didn't even discuss that.
Oh, how did we miss that? Yeah, we should talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this or that. So how we first met? I believe we first met via a Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a Mums in Bali group.
Yeah.
I saw a post from yourself.
Yeah.
On there, and at the time, people were doing that a lot, like posting, like, "Hi, this is who I am. I've got 2 kids. Who wants to meet up? Like, let's make some friends." I saw your post, had a look at you, check you out, and it looks like my friends from back home, really. So I thought I'd message, say hello. We looked like similar ages, kids similar age, and yeah, I think then we arranged to meet up from there from Facebook, basically.
Yeah.
These Facebook groups were very helpful in the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if, I'm sure people still do it.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. I just don't notice it as much. But we met up for a coffee. We met at Nook.
Good man.
Yeah, had a coffee there. You had little Sophia with you as a baby. Still little, she is.
And then you organised a
yes.
little girls group to Cafe Del Mar, which is beach club.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I like her. A few drinks at a beach club.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a group of us, right? A lot of girls that didn't know each other that had basically just got here. Most people had just arrived.
Yeah.
All got together, hung out at the beach club, had some drinks, and then have been friends ever since, right? Yeah.
And now neighbours.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. What do we got? Are you a surfing girl or yoga?
I'm a yoga girl. Like, I love my yoga.
Nice.
Yeah, yoga.
It's smoothie bowl or nasi goreng?
I love nasi goreng. I also love a smoothie bowl, but I'm a big fan of nasi goreng.
I love it. Scooter or walking?
Scooter. Easy answer.
So bad.
Yeah. It's very difficult to walk here, right?
Yeah.
Like, where are you going to walk? The humidity is insane, and there's no baths. So,
yeah, exactly.
Scooter.
Rice field or beach?
A beach.
Yeah.
Although I don't feel like I go to the beach often enough.
I know.
Once you're here, it's, I don't know, once you settle, it depends how close you live to the beach, right?
Yeah.
How often you go there. If it's easy to go after school or wherever it may be during the day. Yeah.
And so every time I'm like to the kids, let's go to the beach. Like, no,
it's
windy. And then we get there and they
love it. Yeah. But then you have to get them home and washed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That much.
All right, let me ask you some.
Okay.
Are you a sunrise or a sunset girl?
A sunset.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a sleep in.
Yeah.
And we can't see the sunrise on our side.
No, true. Exploring waterfalls or visiting temples?
Oh, I love both, but I love waterfalls.
Yeah.
I think I've been to nearly all of them.
Yeah, they are very nice here.
Yeah.
The Canggu nightlife or Ubud tranquility?
Oh, give me the nightlife.
Yeah. We still enjoy going out, right?
Yeah.
Coconut water or iced coffee?
Iced coffee.
That was a quick answer.
Oh, yeah. I love my iced coffee.
And last one, a day at the spa or a hike up Mount Batur?
Okay. I've been here for 3 years and I still have not done the hike.
Me neither. Maybe we can go.
Yeah.
This can be a future episode of our experience up Mount Batur.
Yeah.
No, I
I
shouldn't.
have to wait for like the rainy season to be over.
I shouldn't have mentioned this.
All right, guys, we're going to hold her accountable. She'll be doing the hike.
No, I'm up for it. Let's do it. Cool. So that was this week's This or That. We will be doing that every week.
Well, thanks for listening. It does really mean the world to us.
If you have any questions or topics you want covered in a future episode, then please do drop us a DM or on Instagram at Bali Life Unfiltered.
And in our next episode, we'll be talking about where we're at now and what we've been doing for the last few years.
Mm-hmm. We'll be giving you, I guess, an honest look into how we found it and any challenges that have come up along the way. And we'll also be reflecting on what life could have been like if we hadn't have made the move.
Oh, and to make sure you don't miss an episode, hit that follow button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. See you next week.